the world from all walks of life to share their knowledge, their expertise, their experience, so that we can learn a lot more, become more informed, perhaps take more informed decisions. We could also get inspired to do something else with our life, taking our dreams and ambitions forward. So there are a lot of things that can happen when you watch Ignite with Sandy. And we're on the Celestia platform, which is a work life balance magazine from the UK. And yes, it's all about us being happy, us being able to do more with ourselves, not only ourselves, but the families that we have and the people around us. So, as you know, I never ever introduce my guest. I always get them to introduce themselves. And my guest this week is a person I've known for quite some time. And she's always been very, very focused and enthusiastic about bringing awareness to the fashion industry. So she's not what should I call, a person who owns a boutique and turns out these fabulous clothes that make us look amazing. No, she's of a different kind because she is talking about sustainable fashion. What goes on behind the scenes of the clothes that you and I buy, of the fabrics that we buy? What really happens? And what is it that we should be doing? So, are we, as the end consumer, somebody who should be paying more attention? And the answer is yes. To share with us her knowledge, her expertise, her experience, and what she's doing now, I'm going to bring on my charming guest who's sitting all the way in Turkey. Welcome, my dear, to Ignite with Sandy. So
Thank you,
please,
Sandy.
please you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, hi, my name is Ayesha Siddequa, and I'm into sustainable fashion, like Sandy said. So this isn't something that I have been doing for many years. I mean, I used to be uh, guilty of being a shopaholic. Um, I studied environment and sustainability, and realized what I was doing was creating so much harm. Um, just fulfilling my needs of fashion. And because I had the background in sustainability, I started something on my own in fashion. I'm from India originally and worn many different hats and moved around the world. Worked in the Middle East for a long, long time. And when I came to Dubai in 2010, I saw a huge gap for ethical, sustainable fashion. And this was a term that was only used in European countries. And I thought, there's something we need to do about it. So I started there. I started with my own online platform, and slowly I moved into advocating about it, talking about it with universities, because I felt like the core is education and awareness to all of this. I started with the wrong note. Actually, I started talking about how it is the right thing to do, and being in the Middle East, people didn't really take to it well, and they were like, why are you coming and telling us about you know buying ethically and recycling and upcycling? And so I was like, okay, I think I'm talking the wrong tone, I'm talking the wrong language, so I need to change that. So I started saying, okay, let's talk about it, so let's spread awareness, let's do talks, podcasts, go to universities, to the fashion designers, talk to them about it. And slowly, eventually, here we are, 10 years, 24 years down the line, our company called Ethical Elements, me and my partners, Sana and Sonam, we have started the business that sells the core of what the fashion industry needs in this region, which is fabrics. So
Oh,
are here to provide them the basic foundation. So we talk about sustainable fashion. We talk about, sustainable fashion as a word, Sandy, you mentioned,
yes.
it has many meanings. There is nothing super defined in on Google or in the dictionary yet. Sustainable fashion, sustainability as a word itself has three pillars, which we know in every kind of business: the social aspect, the environmental aspect, of it, and the economical aspect of it. So keeping
Okay.
these pillars in mind, we will implement that in the fashion sector. I mean, sustainability needs to be implemented in all the businesses. But here in my business, the ethics that fall under these three pillars is very important to me, close to my heart. I mean, what goes behind the scenes? People see all this beautiful fashion out there, they see all the certificates out there, they see the labels, and they see the brands talking about sustainable fashion. But what goes behind the scene, people don't know about it. You know,
Yes, that's very true. And as we were discussing earlier, you know, I asked the question, what is sustainable fashion? Because as you mentioned, there are all these labels, and on websites you'll see we are responsible, socially responsible, and we source our stuff from where else or whatever. But for those of us who are still quite unaware of what is this, what exactly is sustainable fashion? Because putting a label or adding it to your website doesn't necessarily mean it is sustainable. So
correct.
what is your definition of sustainable fashion?
For me, anything that takes care of the environment, the people, and the product. So, keeping in mind all these three elements when you are selling your product or your business, I think these are core things. Keep in mind the people who we work with, who work for you, the uh, what's the other one I was saying? The economical part, how you're charging your products, your services, and the environmental aspect. Are you affecting the environment in any way negatively? So keeping all these three things in mind. So always these three things is important in any business. For me, sustainable fashion is just that. From the starting point where the yarn is produced, the crops from the farmers, to how the yarn is made at the factory, to the chemical, the dyeing, the printing, the final fabric that comes out as a textile, then going up to the shops, then going to the fashion designers, then going to the customer, and what happens to it after. So all of this is important for me. So it's from the seed itself. So for me, I call it the closed loop, or a cradle to cradle, as cradle to cradle process, where from the time the product is grown, the fabric is grown, or the yarn a crop, and where it ends up. So I mean, I don't know if people know that the fashion industry is the second largest polluting industry in the world, and it's shocking that people don't know about it because they don't think fashion could do such a big harm. Like, oh, there's still agriculture there. There is the fuels, the petroleum industry, but no, fashion. Of course, the polyester that you get out of fashion is from the fossil fuels. So fashion is the second largest, which is surprising. So yeah, keeping in mind all these three aspects, that is what sustainable fashion for me is.
Okay, so you mentioned some very important points, and one of the things is that we have this thing, which is of course prompted by a lot by the fashion houses and the big industries in fashion. I won't name names, but there are certain companies in Europe that I know where they do 6 seasons.
Oh
So
yes,
every 2 months you have a new selection of clothes. So what happens to the older ones, etc. So when you're doing all of this, and number one, you also know I live in a place like Dubai, and you have the most expensive stores in very elegant malls, to the 10 dirham stores that we have, the budget stores.
yes,
And a lot of times, by the time the price is brought down of those products that we would like to buy, and to make them affordable to a larger segment, you will find that you're picking up a t-shirt for 5 dirhams or
yes,
10 dirhams, right?
yes.
And so by the time you finish wearing it twice or thrice or maybe 5 or 6 times and you wash it, it's no longer wearable. And then that gets thrown away.
Yeah, that's
So
what they call it, the fast fashion industry now.
yes, yes. Now, I do know that in certain places, I think one of the countries that was, I don't know whether it's still valid or not, but at some stage in the Philippines, they had this massive area where fabrics were dumped, and it was
Right.
just huge. and they would try and burn it. There was no way that they could get rid of it. So when you have these landfills where they have so much of this polyester fabric and all kinds of things, what is the impact on the environment with all this discarded stuff?
A huge impact, huge negative impact. The polyester, the chemicals in the fabrics leach into the ground. I mean, this again, like I said, landfills. There's mountains of these, not just Philippines. Of course, they dump it in third world countries more often because it's easier and cheaper. But in America itself, they have huge mountains of fabrics that are thrown. I mean, some of these companies, these big brands, they don't even send it to the third world countries because they don't want their label to be seen by poor people, which is so they would burn it, they would incinerate it. There are companies who have recently just started uh, sourcing these landfill fabrics and reusing them, remaking things out of it. Like they have something called a company called Enviro in US, who upcycles all the old fabrics, creates new yarns or ropes or anything else that can be done with it. If it's not a fashion product itself, anything else that it can be upcycled to, which is great. I mean, we need more companies like that. We need more ideas on how we can upcycle it. All these landfills are very harmful. Um, like I said, it leaches into the ground. It just ruins the soil. You can't grow anything in the closest vicinity of this landfill. If you burn it, there's a huge pollution in the air. There's lots happening, and it's still happening. I mean, that's why we need more people to understand. A $5 T-shirt is not just $5 or 5 dirhams in Dubai. There's so much that goes into it behind the scene, that you just bought it for $5. You wear it for five, because definitely a $5 or a 5 dirham T-shirt wouldn't last you more than 5 wears, because for it to be this cheap, it had to be made with cheap fabrics, cheap finishes. So it's definitely not. It's not going to last you. And yes, you will throw it. You think $5, it's $5, but then when it accumulates and you keep buying five and five and five. I mean, you don't realize how much money you're wasting, first of all. Like our grandparents used to spend money on quality. I believe in the quality. And I still have things that my grandmother used to wear, still in very good condition. I mean, take care of the things, spend money on quality. Uh, just by quality, I don't mean also going and buying those huge brands, just because it's 5,000 pound jacket or something, you think it will last you long. No. Look into, even if you go to a local store, look into the quality, see if the not everyone is fashion expert, they wouldn't know much probably, but throughout, in the process of buying these things, the $5 T-shirt will not last you. So invest in a little bit more to get a better T-shirt, better fabric that will last you. You have some, probably 1 or 2 times you will have to try some brands and then see, which one of them actually will last, depending also on how you take care of it. Yeah, you can't just put a cotton T-shirt with another fabric and wash it. You wash it the way you want to wash it, and then you say, "Oh, this fabric, it's not lasting. I paid $100 for it." And so there's so many aspects to it. And I would suggest, do a little bit of research, just a little bit. Just go online. There's so much out there on how to take care. And right now, like for example, at my company, Ethical Elements, we are also producing for clients. So we're also giving them the opportunity to be able to make products out of our fabrics that we sell, so that they can test them. And we actually put on our care labels, and we actually provide care labels when we sell our fabrics. So even if you buy the fabric to stitch it for yourself, we say, wash it at this temperature, do not use hard chemicals, hang dry it. If it's a bamboo fabric, do not line dry it, dry it flat, because bamboo stretches. Don't wash it with light colors. The dark colors might run. So all of this information, look into this when you're buying stuff.
Okay, so you mentioned bamboo. So can you just enlighten our viewers? Because I know there's silk, there's khadi, there's bamboo, there's pineapple. So when we think about bamboo and pineapple, we're not really thinking about fabric, right?
Yes.
We're thinking about it as that plant or that the fruit or whatever it is. So give us a bit of a background on number one, since you talked about bamboo,
Yeah.
and then pineapple, and then we'll come to the silk and the khadi.
Okay. There's many more actually.
Okay.
There is fabrics made out of milk, um, from mint plant. We sell a lot of hemp, which is again like linen, made out of flax seeds. Linen is made out of flaxseed plant, and hemp fabric is made out of the hemp plant. Of course, it's not the one that you can smoke. It's it's not the cannabis one, but it is the root, the stem of the plant that we use. That's used to make the hemp fabric, which is stronger than linen, and it's a beautiful fabric, beautiful for especially the Middle East weather. We have a huge collection of that in our store. Like you said, bamboo. So bamboo made out of bamboo plants. Why is it so common now? Because bamboo grows without any effort. You don't have to plant it. It just grows wild like a wild grass. So bamboo is grown without any fertilizers, without taking care of it too much, adding water to it, it just grows anywhere. But the way you process the bamboo fabric is, again, because there are chemicals used to make these fabrics. The plant is the stem of the bamboo is laid in the water, and for the fiber to release for many days. Now, a lot of people do it in a fast process by adding chemicals to it. So also, when you're buying natural fabrics, you have to look into the labels. Look for labels like global or textile, cotton textile standards, GOT certified, EOK text certified, B Corp certified, Blue Sign certified. There are many of these. You will get a list of them online. You can see them, that you can look into, which are certified by third parties, by auditors, for manufacturers who produce the fabric, also for retailers who sell the end product. Many such kind of labels are available. You can have a look at them. Yes, there's a completely different topic to talk about, how to know that these guys are really saying the truth. Excuse me. Very difficult for that, because a lot of greenwashing happening. A lot of people get certificates by paying, but you will get to know this through reading about them, through going to their website, reading about their policies, their sustainable vision, their CSR policies, their environmental policies. It's a lot of work. So, my ethical elements, that's where we come in. We do all the due diligence for you as a customer. I would still prefer getting my outfits stitched, because then they're custom made to my liking, my size, my colors, my designs, and I can wear them longer. Instead of it being one of those fast fashion brands where everybody's wearing the same thing, same colors. So you will, and then you're like, okay, let's go buy something else. So I like the old school way of customizing your own stuff, your tailors. The old school tailors, they're really, they're such beautiful artisans. They're such talented people, can make anything that you like. Yes, they can copy a big brand style for you, but then it's done for you in your way. So you don't have to worry about, going and buying new stuff, because things are made for you. So what we do is, the fabrics that we buy, we vet it. We make sure that the producers are certified. We make sure we have even made factory visits to make sure that it's true. Also, these certificates are yearly get renewed. So you have to make sure that they are checked, the dates, the labels are checked. So we do all of that. So as a customer, you don't have to. You can blindly go in and buy a fabric from our store, get it stitched. If you want it, we can get it stitched for you, take your measurements and do it. That's one company that does that, right? So similarly, we have many other such companies. You can go into, I would suggest people, when they go shopping, to shop local. Don't go for these big brands. Try and go local, because loads of local designers. They make it locally. They are, like, for example, in Dubai, you're in Dubai, I'm an ex-Dubai person. I would go to the local brands, go to these local markets that are set up every now and then, every 3 months, I think they have markets there, and I would prefer buying from there than going to these big brands, because I don't. Big brands can buy the certificate, so I don't trust them. At least the local brands, I know even if they don't have certificates, because certificates cost you. That's another point to remember, that not every brand can afford a certificate because that's expensive process. If it is a small brand, follow their journey, believe them. There is also something called trust. So if you trust in your local brand, I wouldn't ask for the certificates. I would look at the product, I would see the quality, and I would buy it, and because it's locally made. And I would promote more local brands, and have them get the right price for their work. Like I was talking about earlier, ethics in the sustainable industry is very close to me. I'm very passionate about the people behind the product, the workers getting paid minimum wage. I mean, you're talking about 3 meals a day kind of a wage, and that's the bare minimum one should give their workers. A brand, even if you're buying from companies, make sure if it is locally made, yes, probably it's made by one individual or it's made in a factory. And in Dubai, there are rules and regulations. So that is one thing I really like. Many countries, especially the third world, just put the rules and regulations under the table because they want the orders. They want the economy to grow. They want more companies to come in and give their people work. And they don't look into these aspects of, okay, what's the minimum wage? So they try to get as many orders as they could. But how it's affecting the people behind the scene, they don't worry about that much. And that has caused a lot of catastrophes in third world countries. An NGO that I support is called Fashion Revolution, which you have been a part of for many years too. I used to organize that in Dubai, and now my dear friend Araceli, she runs it. And just recently, last month, we finished our 10th anniversary. Excuse me. And this was about a factory that collapsed in Bangladesh because they built in extra floors, illegal floors. They didn't look into the safety, and the building collapsed. And all the labels, big brands, the fast fashion brands, not to name them, have all given them orders, and they just took orders as much as they could so they could get more money. But they didn't worry about how the safety of the people working there was. Many people lost their lives, lost their limbs, have been handicapped, and a revolution started with these two ladies in UK, and it's still going on. It has made a lot of difference. There was an accord signed by the country saying that there will be a minimum wage paid. Of course, that was when all the hoo-ha was going on and all the media was focusing on them. And then what happened? Media focused on some other news, and they forgot about their accord and the things that they signed. And again, illegal stuff and minimum wages were not paid. So still the fight is going on. We all need to request for this, and we all need to, I wouldn't say we should boycott any brand. I would suggest people go and request their brand to make sure that they're ethically sourced, they're ethically made. Because you like a brand and then you like to stick to it. You like the quality and everything. So you're the customers. You're making the brand. So I would suggest you as a customer, whichever brand that you like, to make sure that they follow the rules and regulations and they are ethical in what and where they source it from and how the fabric is made. Even if they charge you a little extra, I'm sure you will pay a little extra for your favorite brands if you know that it was made in the right way. So yeah. Sorry, I went off topic a little bit about when you talked about the fabrics itself. But like I said, we have so many fabrics made out of milk, made out of hemp. We have cactus silk. We have orange peel silk. We have silk made out of spider webs. So yeah, there's leather made out of apple skin leather. All of this is in the fashion industry, and which is surprising. If you look around, especially go to these little markets, you will find these products, and they are really good quality. There's a brand called Veganology in Dubai who makes apple leather bags, vegan bags. Yeah, very, 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 very beautiful ones. There is a platform in Dubai called Goshopia where you will find it's a multi-brand platform for all ethical and sustainable fashion and decor products. And you will find the apple leather, the cactus leather, the scarves made out of lotus silk. It's just amazing things out there. And technology has grown so much that you can do a lot of these things and and they are quite long lasting. So when you think about it, you think, oh, apple leather, how does it happen? I mean, don't worry about the process itself. Just go in and look at the product. The
Yeah.
product will tell you how beautifully it is made, and it is long lasting.
Right.
So yeah, there's so
All
much
right.
out there,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
So yeah, it's nice to know that there is these things available now in the UAE and in Dubai. But at the end of the day, everybody looks at one thing:
Yeah,
what is the cost?
correct.
Well, obviously, these things, because they're new, they're not mass produced, they're still following, the more ethical ways of doing it, and that takes longer, that costs more.
Correct.
So, I think one of the most important things is we, as the end consumer, should be a little more savvy when we are shopping. So,
Yes,
yes, we have our fixed amount that our income, and it has to be spread over different things, but we don't go shopping every day for clothes and handbags. And
absolutely.
yeah, and I like the point that you mentioned about using things, if they're good quality, they last longer, they don't just fall apart. And you mentioned about your grandma's stuff and whatever, and I'd like to say that I have clothes that I bought, in fact, my wedding sari. I'm going to be married 50 years next year.
MashaAllah,
Yeah,
MashaAllah.
and
God
my
bless.
my wedding sari, which is obviously 50 years old,
Yeah.
uh, looks brand new.
See, it's how you also kept it, right? First of
Yes,
all, it was the way it was produced, and then also how you took care of it. So, I mean, that's the more important part. You spend a little extra, take care of your stuff. And one more part is, don't have to go shopping. You Everything you need is right now in your cupboard, in your wardrobe. And I mean, many times I've asked this question in my seminars and stuff, like, how many of you have clothes in your wardrobe that still have tags on it? At least three in the audience will raise their hand, because you bought it, there was a sale, I don't know what, and then it's still hanging there, and you're thinking of fitting into it, or you're thinking of wearing it for an occasion. um, Go in and open your wardrobe and look at what you have. You don't have to go out shopping, you don't have to spend any money. I mean, the old saris, my mom's Banarasi saris, the ones in India, but they're made out of silk, pure silk. I made outfits out of it. I turned the saris into some Indian outfits. I made them into jackets. Like, get a little bit more creative. There's so much out there online that you could just, when you go scrolling in your Instagram, you will find so many new ideas. You do that. Everything is in your wardrobe right now. You do not have to go shopping at all. And again, like you said, spend a little extra. You will use it longer, and get a capsule collection. Like, learn how to make a capsule collection, like 10 pieces, mix match them. Wear them, rewear them. Once you're done with the jacket, you could make it into a waistcoat. If or you can check if your husband has any old shirts that he doesn't use. He can make them into dresses and tops. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas out there, and if you are too lazy to do that, there are people who do that for you. Just take it to the tailor and say, I want this out of this. He can do it for you. It's very simple. Create your own collection, create your own line. And yeah, I mean, I've seen you and your fashion, Sandy, really, really, really impressive. And I'm sure you also take a lot from your sister. Um, uh, borrow from your sisters and siblings, which is also a great way of creating your own fashion statement.
yes, I agree with you 100%. In fact, I've done a couple of interviews of people who are teaching sustainable fashion at universities here. And I don't know whether they know my friend Madupe, who is a
Yes.
fashion designer.
Yeah.
And she came up with this amazing project of saying, bring all your discarded old clothes to me
Yeah.
and let me create something for you.
Yeah.
So, obviously, like everybody else, I also have stuff that was bought with the intention of wearing it, and I never wore it. And this applies a lot to saris, because at one
Oh,
stage I was like, oh, I have to have it. And of course, I would never wear it. And now
yes.
she's turned those into amazing evening gowns. And
Yeah.
everywhere I go, I'm complimented. Like, where did you get this? With this fabulous fabric? So she used the saris and she used all the cut pieces lying around in her
Yep.
tailoring shop and turned out something so fabulous. So what you're saying is so important. First of all, what is created is an original,
Yes.
right? Nobody else
Exactly.
has
And
it.
nobody has and nobody would ever have a piece like yours
Exactly.
in the world.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think when people are very much on the social scene
Yes.
and they're photographed very often,
Yes.
a lot of people's I repeat my clothes all the time because frankly I forget. Oh yes, I wore this outfit like 3 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. I just like to
No.
look nice. And
Yeah.
so many people, sometimes ladies especially, come and say, "Oh, I remember this outfit."
Yeah.
And you wore it on so and so date. So I take it more as a compliment because perhaps they're trying to be a little bit, not so nice. And always tell them, I said, number one, thank you very much. And
For
so I,
noticing.
yeah, noticing, and I compliment them on their memory.
Yes.
I
No,
said, and
absolutely.
I also said, I must have made an amazing impact on you for you to actually remember what I wore 3 months ago.
That's
So,
brilliant. That's a brilliant way, a brilliant comeback. That's really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Absolutely. If they
So
remembered it, that means it really was an impressive dress.
yes. So I think fashion, yes, we all want to look fashionable, we all want to look nice, but as you mentioned, we can get so creative.
Yes.
And as you said, there's so many outfits just sitting in our closet. Perhaps they need to be redone or created. The other thing I find why people go out and buy a lot of clothes is because they don't look after themselves. And I say
Yes.
look after themselves, they let themselves grow so they
Yes.
don't fit into the clothes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So,
Yep.
so
Put this
the
with it.
responsibility
Exactly.
lies with us,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. I come 100%. That's the right statement to make.
Yeah,
Responsibility lies with it for us, for our body, and for what we put on our body.
yes,
That I always used to say like people worry about how they've gone completely. Oh, we have to go eat organic. We need to eat vegan. People have changed their food habits. Why not change the way they dress too? Buy organic, buy eco-friendly fabrics, buy sustainably produced. Um, uh, what you put in your body is as important as what you put on your body because the chemicals from the fabric also leach into your skin. So that is very important, and one needs to understand that. Um, uh, Taking care of your health is very important. Looking after yourself, your clothes will make you look just as a little extra feather on your hat when with your clothes. Mainly, it's you, your health, your mentality. Um, it's also connected with fashion. And I know you've done a lot of talks on this on self awareness and mindfulness. So it's very important to be mindful also when you go shopping for fashion.
yes. So coming back to, for example, wanting to look different, wanting to stand out in the crowd, etc., and looking at fabrics like khadi, like silk, pineapple fiber, all of these, yes. So, what is your opinion on, for example, embellishing the fabric to stand out? So things like batik printing and stuff like that, which you have in India, is that something which is eco-friendly and sustainable?
Yes, I mean batik printing is because they are made out of eco dyes. But there are a lot of other ways, fabrics that we have, the colors that we use in our fabrics or the fabrics that we buy. The colors are eco certified, so we know that they're not harmful. Um, the printing that we do is also eco printing. The labels which we use are recycled and upcycled. So everything that we put into our product, we make sure that it's maximum eco-friendly and sustainable as much as we can, because it's not very easy to also source these things because we're not the producers. It's not in our control. There's a whole supply chain that is really connected to the fabric and the end product, which we look into as much as we can, and we provide as much sustainable end product as we can. And we're working on hard on closing the entire loop and trying to, it's not easy to do 100% sustainable, because somewhere or the other down the line, or somewhere in the supply chain, there is going to be an issue. So you don't really have to go so deep into it as a customer. First of all, look into what's available locally. When you're talking about embellishing and bringing out, like you said, you have making your own designs. You can buy the fabrics, do some designs on it, add, you can use your old collection, make and use some of the new sustainable fabrics, and create an entire new collection. The borders of your saris, for example, it's just coming to my mind, like, what you could do. You could make an entire suit, like a jacket pants outfit out of your old saris, including, if the sari is not enough for the whole outfit, you could add in new fabric. I mean, it's unlimited scope for creativity here. You could use your khadi. Khadi people used to use in the olden days. Not the females never used to use too much of khadi. Males used to use a lot of khadi in their outfits. Now females are using it. Khadis, you can make a beautiful blazer suit with khadi, a dress with khadi. Again, it's not just the fabrics come in different thicknesses, right? So you have thin fabrics, then thick fabrics. You have chiffon. You have silk, satin. So it's up to you. You can go wild with your creativity as much as you can. And now there is nothing called men wear, women's wear. It's all unisex. So I buy t-shirts because I like them loose fitted t-shirts. I don't like them figure hugging. So I go to the men's section always, because all the women's section have all those tight, even if it's an XL, it's XL for women. So I always go to the men's section to buy my t-shirts. So yeah, there's so much you can do. Just think about it. It's your creativity. No one is there to judge. People talk, and they're worried. You have a mouth, you're gonna talk. You have 2 years. I believe in that. Just listen. You have 2 years, right? So listen from one and leave from the other. If you start thinking about how people are going to talk about you all the time and get affected by it, it's not going to help. So just believe in yourself. Be mindful of everything that you do. Shopping from where I come from, the fashion industry. Shop locally. Help your local suppliers. Help your local producers. And take care of your clothes. Take care of them. You don't have to wash your clothes every time you wear it. That's one more point people don't understand. If you don't sweat, if you're not smelly, if you can just air dry it and or spray the antibacterial spray on in your underarms area or whatever. If you're not stinking, if you're not stained, you don't need to wash them, because you're actually ruining your clothes by doing that.
Quite true.
You can spot clean them if you have a stain or something. You don't have to wash the whole thing. When they talk about jeans, they say that jeans shouldn't be washed very often. Like, you wear the jeans until they go completely really stained. They say that about jeans, because if the more you wash jeans, the color runs out. And again, jeans is not will lose its texture if you wash it very, very often. So yeah. Read the care labels. There is a reason why people put in this huge long stick. People just take them and chop them off. They don't read it. Read the care labels to see why they're saying this, because it's important to take care of your clothes. If you really don't care, there's not much about it. How much ever I talk or anybody talks, if you don't care, you don't care. But for people who care, read the labels, see how to take care of it, how to wash it, how to iron it, how to dry it, and your clothes will last longer.
Very true. Thank you very much, my dear, for sharing, number one, information that we were not aware of. Number two, bringing back into our attention zone the very common sense things that we should be doing and which we don't. So that was a good reminder, and you came up with a whole lot of very interesting points for us to ponder. And yes, I think we should be being a little more mindful, a little more observant
Yes.
of what we are buying and where we are buying it from, etc. So, on that happy note, thank you very much for taking the time
Thank
to
you,
be with us
Sandy.
today.
Thank you
And
very much.
hopefully, we'll meet up soon.
Yes.
Till then, take care and God bless.
Take care. God bless. Thank you so much. Take care.
So there we have it, some very interesting information coming out. Uh, I think Aisha is one of those people who has a lot of technical information as well. But the likes of you and me and people who are listening may find that a little boring because we are not really concerned with, how it was made. We are more interested like, oh, can we buy this? How much does it cost? So one of the things that I liked and I believe in, and I think perhaps many of you would believe in it as well, is being creative. So, as she mentioned, go into your closet. I'm sure you'll find lots of things. Don't just explore your closet, explore the closet of your husband, because there are many things that you would find there that could actually be useful to you. And remember, as we grow older, we sort of spread. So, first is the middle age spread, then is the old age flab. And so, it's sometimes more difficult for us to get on a diet and exercise and get back into the shapely young thing that we used to be. So don't stress yourself about that. Go into the wardrobe and all those suits that have become tight, find a way of creating something out of that. But remember, because especially for men's materials, the suit materials are really very good and they last very long and they look excellent. So that's a very good pointer that she made. The other thing is, she mentioned is reading the labels. Yes, that is an important thing. Don't look at what is the cost or what is the size. Look at what else is written, because that also makes a lot of sense. And of course, buy local, go local. You'll be surprised how many fabulous things that you can get in the local markets, in the souks. I live in a place which is Dubai. UAE is full of wonderful things. In fact, a lot of local stuff made by the Emiratis is fabulous, but they're never marketed. They're never made fashionable, and you don't even see much about it on social media. So let's do our bit. Let's find out more about how we can be responsible consumers, because at the end of the day, it's our money that makes those people, those companies profitable. So you are in control. Use it in a nice manner. So until our next episode, thank you very much for watching. But before you go, you know what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to watch this video. You're supposed to like this video. But important is to share the video, because there's a lot of valuable information that you can get from the video. And of course, please do subscribe to our Celestia channel. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, God bless.